This podcast contains themes that are unsuitable for younger listeners and parental guidance is advised.
It's been 30 years since they came. 30 years? No! They took my child! 30 years? I'm gonna kill you. No! It's been 30 years since they came.
I was at the base with the man in black. We were working over a plan that we would do for later on in that year. Something big and explosive. Something that will send a shocking message to all the Anunaki and Nephilim in the area. Something that will teach them a proper lesson. But we got interrupted. There was a bang on the door. And some of our security. And the man on watch let the man through. "Quick," he said. "They're putting people's heads on spikes at the war memorial. We got to do something." The man in black, he said to me to come, but not to interact, for I was still learning. He wanted me to keep an eye out. He gave me a pistol and a lot of ammunition. "Anyone that comes near you," he said, "you kill them. Any Anunaki soldier, you shoot him without hesitation, but you stay out of sight. You must stay out of sight." So I went with him. Yes, I went with him. And I took up a vantage point. I could see the whole of the war memorial in the middle of the town square. And there were spikes, big metal spikes driven into the floor, with people's heads on those spikes. Oh, not only was I angry, but the man in black, he was very angry. Not only had he witnessed people that he probably knew dead with their heads on these spikes, but he was sick and death of these Anunaki motherfuckers killing our people and taking our children. He wanted pure revenge and pure spite. He walked down this road on his own, and I could see him entering the town square in the middle of the old dilapidated road. And yes, there he was, walking on his own, and it caught the attention of all the Anunaki soldiers there. They did not know what they were in for that day. There was a whole platoon there, so a lot of Anunaki soldiers, lots of them. Oh, I will never forget this day, because this was a day of training. The old man, the man in black, he has a hard-on for violence. Any Anunaki soldier he comes across has to die. Has to die indeed. Yes. So he was walking along, and he activated his shield generator, and he pressed another button, and the shield generator hovered in the air and it surrounded him. Somehow he managed to modify it. I suppose this piece of experimental technology wasn't made just to be handheld. It was made to act like a drone and envelop him, to protect him 360 degrees, and he got it working. I suppose that's from the computer that he seized all that time ago. Yes. All this translucent red light surrounded him, and all these Anunaki soldiers, oh, they were not happy. You could see the fear. They knew that their technology was being used against them, and none of them had one of these units. No. So the old man had the advantage. Oh, it was beautiful. The man in black, the old man, he flicked open his trench coat, and out came the shotgun. And he walked over to the group of soldiers who were placing heads onto spikes. They began to open fire, and there was a big barrage of lasers getting repelled by the shield generator. Oh, I nearly got hit a few times from the rebounds, but I still kept watching nonetheless to see from the master how it was done. The old man, the man in black, got his shotgun and just went up to the first soldier and poof, he blew his head off. He got the second shot, cocked the shotgun one more time, poof, and took another guy's head off. Oh, this blood and brains, it went everywhere. It went everywhere. And all these lasers kept deflecting off the shield generator. And it was a beautiful sight. They couldn't touch him, but we didn't know how long the shield generator would last, so he had to make every shot count. He got out his handgun. Pop, 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 pop. He took them all out and then dropped the gun to the floor because it was empty. He didn't have a spare clip. He just dropped it. There's no point in keeping it. He then got his favourite axe, because he carried 2 axes, but he got his favourite axe, got it out from his back, from behind his trench coat, and he hurled it into the chest of another Anunaki soldier. Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. The soldier fell to the floor with this axe buried into him. He was dead in one hit. The man in black, he was amazing. He was amazing at throwing things. And he never missed. Not once did he miss. Oh. The Anunnaki must have radioed for help. For there was a lander that came down and landed in the middle of the road. A load more soldiers piled out. About 20 or 30 of them piled out. And they all decided to go hand to hand. They'd come up to him with a laser sword, and he just bounced off the shield generator. Nothing could get through the shield generator, and the man in black, he was just easily just chopping them to pieces with his axe. The man in black, he went over to the dead body with his axe in, pulled it out, and started chopping through this platoon of soldiers. Limbs were getting hacked off, arms off, legs off, bellies getting sliced and hacked open. It was beautiful. Blood everywhere. Blood went everywhere. Then, when he got bored of using his favourite axe, he put it back and pulled out the Anunaki pistol and started shooting them one by one by one by one. He wouldn't just go straight for headshots because that was too nice. For them to die easy was far too nice. No. He would shoot them in the knee. He would shoot them in the bellies. He would maim them. He would leave holes through them as they were suffering. As they were suffering big time. Yes. They all suffered a very slow, painful death. Because when he'd finished with them, oh, there was just a load of bodies rolling around in pain on the floor, and he didn't put them out of their misery. No, he wanted them to die slow. To die slow. It was amazing. It was amazing. And then he went up to the town square, to the memorial right slap bang in the middle. The man in black, he began to remove the heads off the spikes and treated them with respect. Whilst he was doing this, there were still Anunaki soldiers firing on him, and the lasers just kept bouncing off. They couldn't get close to him. No. He took all these heads down and treated them with respect. Yes. He left them there down on the floor and turned his attention back to the last bunch of soldiers. The last bunch of soldiers who were about to die. Who were about to die a slow, painful death. He walked up to him slowly. He got his fist and grabbed one of them by the throat. The soldier was half in and half out of the shield generator, and he was getting burned. He didn't expect this to happen. No, he didn't expect that. But this Anunaki soldier that was half in and half out was getting his face removed by the lasers, by the laser shield. Oh, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. An unexpected side effect, I guess. The Anunaki soldier was screaming out in pain, in lots of pain, as his face was melting off. The man in black dropped him to the floor. Oh, yes. Then he went up to the last two soldiers, pulled out his big fuck-off knife, and he stabbed them both one by one, and disemboweled them. He started pulling their guts out, and then he deactivated the shield generator, for it was no longer needed. He had done them all. A lot of them were still alive, barely alive. And the old man, the man in black, he got his machete out, and one by one chopped their fucking heads off, yes. And he then took their heads and piled them onto the spikes to show the Anunnaki a lesson of respect. All their heads ended up on those spikes as a warning to all those Anunnaki left in that area. It was a message. It was a beautiful message. You do not fuck with us. Yes, you do not fuck with us.
Thank you for listening. Please come back next week for the next episode. If you've enjoyed this podcast, why not check out our other podcast, A Tribute to Men That Hate Their Jobs, which is a brutal but witty portrayal of working a job you hate. In this podcast, there are themes explored in which happy workers simply wouldn't understand, unless they listen to these cautionary tales from a man that lost his ideal job because of the global pandemic. Be warned that this podcast contains strong and offensive language that some listeners may not want to hear. In addition, this podcast is not recommended for younger audiences. All our podcasts are available on YouTube. Just search for the musterxmedia podcast channel. In addition, you can also find our podcasts on Amazon Music, Red Circle Podcasts, Stitcher and Spotify. We also have another YouTube channel called The X Review. This is a review and reaction channel. Not only is it on YouTube, but it is also on Brand YouTube, BitChute and Rumble. You can also find us on Facebook, Gab, Twitter and Parler. All the links are in the description below.